All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another C Squared podcast episode. We are doing back to back live episodes. We had one with Anna Kremling and Pia. And right now, we have another special guest with us, the CCO of Chess.com, Chief Chess Officer. That's what it stands for.
Chief Chess Officer is a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Welcome to the pod, Danny.
Thank you for having me. I feel like it's been too long, given how long this thing has been going. The last
You were on an episode, but it was a very impromptu in a car. Yeah,
and you got me sick that day. You were sick.
Somebody
and
got
we were
us sick.
sitting very close.
Somebody got us sick. Yeah.
I think Fabi.
Don't think it was me. I don't think I was sick. I don't think I was sick.
You and I haven't done inappropriate content together in quite a while since you visited
Many years.
in 2021.
Actually, I did do something with you and Wesley.
Oh, that's right. That went
Randomly.
viral for a minute.
Randomly in
That
Toronto.
was actually so good.
In Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was fun. You regret that?
I don't regret it.
You don't regret anything.
No.
No regrets, man. But no, thank you for having me. Jokes aside, guys, I'm honored to be here. I'm excited, and should be fun.
Yeah. You actually flew here
Yeah.
with somebody as well. So you made the whole thing out of being on our show. So we appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I feel like in-person podcasts are a little more enjoyable. Not to take anything away from the remote podcasts. I've done a few of those this year, but I kind of like the effort, and I haven't been to St. Louis for a minute. So the excuse actually capturing you two in the same location is difficult, more difficult than people know. So
Haven't been to St. Louis in a minute.
I haven't been to St. Louis in a minute. I haven't been to St. Louis since the day of, what do we call it? Is it like Judgment Day? The day the chess world changed?
September 2022. Yeah. That was a big
4th,
one.
2022.
September 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was here at the start of round 3 between Magnus and Hans. Hopped on a plane and went home with my 2 boys. My oldest son is in the background, for those who notice him or not. That's the last time he was here too. But we were here, and then the round started, and hopped on a plane and landed to a big result, and controversy began to swirl.
I feel like the whole chess world sort of changed at that point. Like
Yeah.
everything just accelerated. The drama, the cheating, scandals, obviously the online chess as well. Your platform, chess.com, pretty much exploded. That was a huge boom.
It feels exhausting to think about the last 3 years, honestly.
Yeah. But then again, it feels like yesterday also. It doesn't feel like 3 years have passed. Anyway, and I'm sure we'll get into that, and we'll go through the whole timeline for the next hour or so. But
Yeah.
you also just launched a book, or at least you're in the process of
Yeah.
launching a book. And that's part of the reason why you're with us as well. Tell us a bit about that, and what is it about?
Yeah, the book is Dark Squares. It's a memoir. I think a lot of people, when you think of a chess person writing a book, you think it's a chess book. There's not a single chess diagram in the book, for those curious. But it's the story of my life. And for those who don't know, while I wouldn't say I've kept it secret, it hasn't necessarily been a conversation topic that I led with. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, when you heard that I jumped on electric fences as a kid in 2021, if you had any more questions about where I was raised.
Oh, I'm very curious.
Very curious.
Very curious.
If anyone doesn't know that clip, I don't know how you guys will edit that in, but we had a fun
We'll
moment.
get it in.
This is a force field. Why can't I just jump over it, right? It's like an electric fence. It zaps me back. If I could put the king here, we have a different position, right? Have you ever jumped on an electric fence as a kid?
No.
Where I grew up, there were a lot of them. You keep out like elk and stuff, and you ever like run from your friends, you're playing tag, and you jump on the literally, and instantly, like literally, I've jumped on an electric fence, been shocked right off of the fence.
Danny.
That's how the king feels right now.
Danny, that explains a lot.
We had a fun moment on the couch with Robert during the World Championship in 2021. But I was raised in Talna Village, Arizona, which was where the Church of Immortal Consciousness, which was a spiritual group, formed. It was a cult, and it's taken me a lot of years to come to terms with that. But once you do, and you kind of reflect on a lot of things about that experience, you realize that it was not normal and not okay. And the unique story of my life is that as I became a strong chess player in the American chess scene, one of the top players, I was taken away, separated from my mother by the cult leader in order to pursue chess, which is the wildest thing in the world, given that that road kind of ultimately led me here. So without getting into more details unless you want to, because we're not just here to talk about the book. I appreciate the opportunity to let people know that if they're interested in the story, they might want to earmark that. But that's the hook. That's why the story kind of wrote itself, or at least there was interest in the story.
Well, it's also a good segue into your life in the world of chess, right? And how you developed, and you're an international master, so you're a pretty strong player as well. But did they realize that you have talent, the cult leader? Or what was the process there?
Yeah, I mean, I was I learned to play chess along with my stepbrother, which is its own very complicated story with my parents and how that dynamic went down. Because my dad was actually one of the leaders of the cult. Very wild aspects there, and I learned to play chess with my stepbrother, and we got good really fast. We were obsessed with Searching for Bobby Fischer. I mean, that was the movie that got a whole generation of players into the game. We played in tournaments. We started doing really well. And so I guess seeing that we were talented and that I, in particular, had a knack for the game was pretty obvious. Plus, we were in a small village and there wasn't a lot else to do. And we were dirt poor. It was a fully merged financial and spiritual commune. The cult leaders ran all the money. And so there was a lot of aspects to that where chess was pretty special to us as kids, and I jumped right in. So, and then jumped on electric fences from time to time because it was the electric fences were not for the people in the. You keep giving me that look, like the story gets weirder with the electric fences, but it wasn't to keep people in. Just so you know, it wasn't that extreme. So it was just for animals.
Okay.
Yeah, just because when you live in the forest, you try to keep deer.
And you just thought it would be fun.
But no, well, honestly, as a kid, when you're dirt poor, running with no shoes around a village, and you're playing tag all the time before you learn how to play chess, back in the glory days, as I call it, you just don't think about what you're doing, and you run and jump on neighbors' fences, and then you find out the hard way that they're hardwired with electric. Anyway, so
I think we've all done some stupid things.
I think we've all done some.
Luckily, kids can bounce back physically.
Yeah, but as you said, that explains a lot. So.
If it's not, because I don't know if you want to kind of keep the secrets of the story for the book, but how did you get out if it's not? There
are some things I'm not allowed to talk about yet. I'm happy to come back next year if your audience will have me, depending on the level of negative comments we get. No, I'm kidding. But there are certain things I'm not supposed to dive into fully yet. Just obviously that's part of the deal. It'll be out in September. But I would just say that I think the Hollywood version of what happens to a lot of cults, you think of infamous ones, you think of Jonestown, you think of Waco, you think of Heaven's Gate, you think of cults that operated with some sort of agenda or there was a violent end game, right? I think there's a lot of high control, high demand groups and experiences that people have with religious leaders and spiritual agendas that are less of a dramatic finish, but never to say equally. Everyone's experience is different, and obviously, I certainly didn't have as bad of an experience as those in Jonestown and others. But what I would say is there's a lot of things that the scars that you carry in terms of the manipulative kind of dynamics are similar to lots of different types of abuse. But the way it ends often in a lot of these groups is like they kind of implode on themselves. And they kind of fall apart rather than it being like a Hollywood ending where you wake up in the middle of the night and have an epiphany and say, I'm living in a cult. That wasn't my experience. And obviously there are a lot of details in there. I mean, I was married very young. My wife and I were living in it in the collective together, making our marriage work and kind of getting through that while there was a lot of really kind of heavy shit going down is a big part of the story too.
Does the cult still operate to this day?
No. No, the woman, the deity who it was sort of based around, passed away. The cult leader, the main person, is still there, still around, but it has kind of fallen by the wayside, dispersed. Yeah.
So you were getting pretty good at chess. Like, what were the peers around you at that time? Do you remember?
My competition.
Your peers, competition.
Asuka, Hikaru's older brother, was like my main rival.
Okay.
We competed for different national championships while we watched Hikaru, the person who was a year and a half, almost 2 years younger than us, slowly get better than us. And then not so slowly get better than us.
Did you knew Fabi Was Fabi around at that point?
I've known Fabi. I remember the first time I saw Fabi,
What did you guys
standing on a chair to see over the table, I think so.
That must have been the late 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Did you
and
guys
you're,
I was probably
Ever
15,
played?
16.
you're 6 years older than me, is that right?
I'm 39.
Okay, so yeah, you're about 6 years older.
Yeah. I think we played in the first tournament together when you were 7.
Mhm.
And I was maybe 13 or 14.
Was that like a scholastic event? We were in different sections, or was that one
I
of
think
those?
so. I
Okay.
think I
Makes
remember
sense.
you being a talented junior that, everyone had already taken note of. But of course, when you're playing the American chess circuit, the Goichberg series, as we call it, right?
Yeah,
Foxwoods World Open and the lot, you kind of bounce around and,
yeah.
you know,
And those tournaments are still going on.
they're still going on, right? Talk
pretty
about a
impressive.
cold. No, I'm just kidding. Am I allowed to say that? The Goichberg series of events. The Goichberg events are a lot of fun, and the American Swiss circuit is a challenging one.
Yeah, we probably would have faced each other, but I at some point left the scene,
Yeah.
so I don't think we ever played.
No, I don't think we ever did either.
Yeah.
I remember you coming and looking at my board at one point, and I did a double take. I'm like, who's the tiny kid over here?
He's good.
He's good.
He's good.
No, and then when did you move to Italy?
2004, ended 2004.
Okay.
Oh, moved to Spain.
Yeah.
Moved to Spain.
You moved to Spain
Yeah,
right away. Okay,
yeah.
that's right. And then eventually took up shop in Italy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like it? Did you like chess? Was the passion of yours, or
I loved chess.
was somebody else forcing you to play?
I loved chess until it became
Like a profession, right?
a profession, which unfortunately for me started at a much younger age.
Yeah.
And the pressure was very real. I would say very quickly in my early teens, chess became more of tormentor than mentor. It was difficult. I still played obviously and pretty well for a lot of years to come. But it was difficult. I was basically orphaned because of my talent and because of the unique control and power that the leaders of the collective had over everyone within it. So yeah, it's been a very interesting relationship that I've had with the game. I would just say that it's been an obsession and then became something that was much more than that as far as my job, if you want to say that, but also something that I feel a great sense of purpose within in terms of what I do and what I try to do anyway. But it also comes with a lot of scars. Yeah.
I feel that's a story for a lot of players, especially around the 24, 25, 2600 maybe. Obviously, I don't know how it is for you and the players of your level, but I feel like I fell out of love with chess at some point as well, just because of the competition, just because of the pressure that competition comes with. So yeah, it's interesting. Now I'm obviously in the chess world and I love what I'm doing, but I don't like as much competing, and I don't think I would enjoy chess if I would be only competing.
I think a lot of people like or love chess, but the competition is very painful for everyone.
Losing
I think.
is very
Yeah.
painful.
How have you done it for so long? I mean, you must have had stages where you were in the similar sort of up and down as far as your love with the game. But
Sure, yeah. But I realize that it's just something you just have to live with.
yeah,
And when it comes to competition,
I think
You're not
anything that
gonna
you
lose.
not only are you really good at, the illusion that even if you're good at something that it always feels good or every day is good is kind of an illusion, right? I think
Sure.
at some point you learn to love the labor as much as anything else. Like you learn to literally love the process, right? So obviously you must have found.
I think it's
some
kind of
sort
exciting, and you don't
Yeah.
have. It's very hard to replicate that in any casual way. Like there's professional competition, and I don't think there's a way to replicate that.
The high you get from it.
Yeah, you can play for fun, but it's just a bit different, right? You don't have the thrill. People maybe try to find thrill in different ways, but I find competition can be
It's fun.
very fun for that reason, and also can hurt a lot.
Yeah.
But then I also thought about it from a philosophical point of view, and I thought like if you kind of place your value on your results on the outside world, then everyone's a loser, because there's like every kind of failure is amplified and every victory is forgotten very quickly. So if you're Magnus or Gary, you're just like brought down to earth very quickly if you care about what the outside world says. And if you kind of care about your own success based on your perception of it, then you might be much more happy.
I wish you had given that advice to 13-year-old Danny. That was very deep. So I wish I had heard that. I mean, I definitely had way more of my self-worth and value wrapped up, partly because it was literally my spiritually sort of endowed mission by the cult leader, which is, again, it's a big part of the story, and went through a lot of years of trauma kind of unpacking that and didn't handle it well, as you'll read.
So
But,
did he like sat you down and had a talk with you, told you like you are tasked with being the best chess player on the planet,
literally.
coming from this cult?
And I shouldn't tell
And
more
represent
about it,
the
but
cult.
literally, and then the snowball and the dominoes that fell from there were absolutely wild, and especially given that part of being in that dynamic is that I was on board with the whole thing, you know, because you're brainwashed into believing, you know, in the mission.
Sure.
And so, yeah. But I mean, jokes aside, I mean, having your self-worth, regardless of my sort of unique circumstances, I think a lot of competitors who reach a high level at a young age, even if the high level is relative to others, can relate to the dangers of having your self-worth wrapped up in the accomplishment and the kudos you get from others, right? The externally, you know, external validation being such a dangerous thing for young people in general, regardless of the literal, you know, validation I was trying to earn about, you know, having spiritual worth on the planet, which was its own very, very wild thing. But no, I think that's it's nice to hear you say that, as far as the perspective that keeps you kind of grounded, you know, doing what you do.
I think it's hard to keep people happy.
Yeah.
Do you regret that that you kind of grew up in a way that you couldn't make the most of your chess ability? Or
I do sometimes. I wouldn't trade my position or my life for the world. And I really mean that. I think, and just in terms of how I view life, the universe, existence, I believe that if you wouldn't change the ending, you don't get the right to cherry pick the parts of your life that you would change, right? You don't get to say, I'm happy with where I've come and I'm proud of how I've worked through my issues. And if I could go back in time, these are all the things that, it doesn't mean you're making an excuse for your abusers, and it doesn't mean you're denying what happened. In fact, if anything, those experiences are part of what made you who you are, right? And got you to where you are. But I don't really like to think of it in terms of I would change anything. At the same time, if I think about how quickly I lost my love for the game because of what it became at a young age, yeah, there's a part of me that goes, the irony of my story is that by taking me away from my mother, it was a fast track to putting me on a path where I was not mentally capable of achieving whatever my highest potential was. And I don't know what that would have been. And what came from there is, I'm probably already saying too much, and my PR team is going to yell at me. Danny, you said you weren't going to talk this much about it, but I said they're my friends, so I want to talk. So anyway, but no, I think that, yeah, that kind of sets the table for a lot of stuff there.
But speaking of that type of psychological play, the fact that you're kind of seeing yourself, or at least somebody else is telling you that you're this main character, do you feel like that positively impacted your career?
Like in a positive way? Or
in a positive way. After you gave up, you know, competitive chess, but, you know, now you're one of the main players, let's say, in chess. Was that type of mission?
I will say it's funny, because if it is, it's come from many years of trying to work through, you know, the dynamic that Fabi described, which is believing in having worth within chess because I failed so miserably at this idea of needing to become the world champion,
sure,
or needing to become at least like one of the best players in the world, right? And so in some ways it is like the superpower of self-doubt and feeling like an imposter, along with, yeah, maybe still believing that if the multiverse and the sliding doors had been different, it could have been there, that keeps you driving toward this goal of, well, if I can't be the best player in the world, maybe I can change the world of chess. Maybe I can be a part of changing it for others, and maybe I can achieve something in regards to building, whether it is, you know, a chess platform or a different way for other people to view the game.